Test shot. How are you looking? Can you see me? Yes.
How that's not the energy you're bringing? Because it's supposed to be a casual tipsy thing. You're not supposed to be too bright-eyed.
I should not be bright-eyed.
I think it's too high.
Welcome to No Corks Given. Okay, my name is Miracle. I'm the co-host, and
my name is Ruth.
Hi.
The other co-host.
Yes. So, as the name implies, this is like us drinking and just talking shit. Don't expect too much, but expect a lot at the same time.
It's literally just us having a conversation. You guys are basically just
you guys are just like onlookers in our conversation. Exactly. So don't get too comfortable. We could actually start judging you too. So I'm going to like pour out tea. We're drinking tea here. We're keeping it very halal around here. Exactly. So being very respectful. So we're just going to like pour our tea below the camera, as you can see. This is organic.
Should we also like say our age and stuff?
No, I don't think that's necessary.
Yeah? We don't have to give like a detailed
introduction. We could just say our full names. Okay. My name is Miracle Ufodiama.
My name is Ruth Nwego.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. We have not started drinking. I'm already behaving like this. Please pray for our mothers. Pray for our mothers. Yeah, we don't need the tea, guys. But yeah, we just need to sip it to give you guys a little tea about us. Yeah. So this basically. Oh, this is so good. This tea is actually good. I like it. It's melon. I like all melons. So yeah, it tastes a bit sour. Yeah.
Yeah.
But guys, we're
very warm.
Yeah, exactly. You know, it rained. It actually rained last night, so we're just keeping warm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Internally.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So I was just talking with Ruth, and I was like telling her about like this. Is it Zambia? Was it Zimbabwe?
Zimbabwe.
Sorry guys.
We obviously know the difference.
Yeah, we do know the difference. We're very learned people around here. We know our countries in Africa. We're not like we don't think that the whole of Africa is a country, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So, I mean, what's the country next to Nigeria? Do you know that?
Yeah, I actually do.
What's that?
Cameroon.
Oh my god.
Benin.
Oh my god. 0 over 100.
What do you mean?
Sorry.
We literally share borders with Benin and Cameroon.
What's on the other side before you get to Ghana?
You should have said what side.
Sorry.
Because we have Togo, we have Benin, we have Cameroon.
Okay, so that's Togo I was looking for because I like Togo. So my Togo, if you're a Togo guy, text me. If you're from Togo, text me.
This is not the point of the podcast, by the way. But
yes.
Miracle have other intentions, apparently.
Yeah. So so there were like Zimbabwe. There was a Zimbabwe thing that we said like we heard about recently. It was like a bit of tea, and then it was a bit upsetting, and we started talking about it.
Yeah.
And then we now found out something else about our fellow Liberians. So we're going to pivot. We'll go from Zimbabwe to probably Liberia to probably Burkina Faso.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, that's what's up. Maybe in like subsequent episodes we'll talk about like them in depth. But here we're just going to like comment as we sip on our tea, and so we're not political commentators. We're just saying what we see as we see it. So we are just like your internet aunties, just like talking shit. So
yes, please, we're not reliable sources of information.
Yeah. Yeah,
always,
exactly.
Always check before you believe what
you say. Can you sit a bit more relaxed? You look like you're agitated. Like sit a bit more relaxed. Like more casual. No, like.
This is me sitting relaxed.
Is that you sitting relaxed?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Look at that.
Oh yeah, sorry.
Wow.
Sorry, no, we'll cut it out. It's all part of the cut. We'll cut it out. Sorry. Okay.
How do you want me to sit?
I'm like looking at it from like this is okay. Focus on me, baby.
Can you guys see? Did you guys hear
that? Did you guys hear that? Oh, they heard it loud and clear.
Alright, so we're from Zimbabwe.
Yeah, let's start from Zimbabwe. So recently on one of my Our lights on off. Jesus, our enemies have won.
You guys.
Let me record it from this side so that they can see how we are videoing them. Okay, sorry, I was recording my face.
Just for context,
Our lights
ring
off.
lights just went off.
Yeah, please don't judge our setup.
Yes, we're just starting.
Yeah. So basically, in Zimbabwe, they were their hand was somewhat pushed to start paying reparations to their colonizers. It was it was sad when I read it. I was like very upset and incited. And I'm just going to like say it how I saw it. If you have more intelligent ways of putting it more than me, because you know some of you are wiser than your grandmothers.
Yes, and please take it easy on us, please. Okay, let's continue.
Okay, so as you know, or you might not know, Zimbabwe has been like on many ban lists. Like sometimes you go to like some companies, like some fintech companies, and you'll be trying to like send money to Zimbabwe. Not like I have ever tried, but sometimes I'm just curious to see the African countries you can send money on like some of these platforms. And you see that among the listed platforms that you can't get like a virtual card or send money to, Zimbabwe is usually on the list. And it's always weird because they'll put them like on the same list as places like North Korea and Russia. And it's like, why? I've not really heard anything about Zimbabwe and like them having like an oppressive system of government or people protesting. They got me a bit curious because I was now asking myself, is it that they are so suppressive that like we don't hear about it?
Yeah.
Or is it that they are being misrepresented and like being put on those lists when they shouldn't be on those lists?
Which is usually
honestly, I don't know. I've never like gone deep into African countries. So I don't know. But this one really stood out because on this list there was no other African country. It was just Zimbabwe.
Oh, wow.
So I was like, okay, what has Zimbabwe done to like warrant them being on this list of not being able to receive money from outside of Zimbabwe? So I did a bit of digging, and it turns out that they basically seized like properties and lands and all of that from their colonizers as a way to like return the things that were taken from them during like colonization. So you can imagine that like someone that comes into a place you've been living in for like millennia, and because they have guns, even if they're the minority, they have guns, they have like a big government in their homeland backing them up and sending troops. They sort of like overcome you and actually colonize you, and you now become subservient to them. You start like serving them. You start learning their language and all of that. No shade. It happens to a lot of countries. I'm not like pointing fingers and saying, of course, colonization did a lot of harm. I'm not like pointing fingers. I'm just saying like that was what happened in Zimbabwe. So for them, when the colonizers, many of them left and some didn't leave, but they still held on to their property. They didn't leave and then leave their property. So you know, we are Nigerian. We're Nigerians, and we're not saying that Nigeria is free from that. I know that a lot of like oil companies are actually owned by British corporations. We don't want to name names because we want to stay alive. So
please, let's not do that.
But we know that there are a few that are owned by British corporations from colonization, and like we call it neo-colonialism because they keep siphoning like resources from the countries, but they never like give back. Instead, they destroy the environment and and they back civil unrest so that they can keep extorting like these destabilized places. So we know that, but the way it's done in Nigeria is a bit different. It's more like they don't outright own a land. You don't come to a land and they tell you, oh, this is owned by the British government. So this is owned by your colonial masters.
Yeah, at least not yet.
At least like so we don't know about those kind of lands are like, except maybe it's their embassy, right? But like we don't know that okay, this particular place is owned by your colonial masters as someone that lives here and as the majority here and as people that have been living here for a very long time and as people that are literally suited to this environment. You can't like own this land. In fact, in Jamaica, there are some of their beaches that people that the natives
I saw that there are a lot
the
of
natives cannot
resorts and stuff
access.
that's
Like, you can only access it as a tourist. Like, as someone that lives and comes from that country, you cannot enter there, even if you have the money to pay to go in there.
Imagine growing up and being able to go to beaches, and then all of a sudden, like as a child, you were able to go to those beaches, but you grew up, and then all of a sudden,
You're no longer allowed because like you're now less important than people that are coming into your country to visit. That's messed up. But anyway, back to the like Zimbabwe point. So basically, they decided to take those lands that were still owned by colonial masters back. So if you ever watch like some of these apartheid South African videos, I forgot the name of this one that had like Billy Goldberg in it.
I know the one you're talking about. Does that look like an S? So...
Yeah, it starts with an S or something. If you guys remember, just put it in the comments for us because we don't
know
know
what you're talking about.
Yeah. So like if you watch those kind of videos, you could clearly see disparity between like the regular South African and their colonial masters. So they own lands, they were like unfettered, they had unfettered access to the resources, while the majority of people were suffering. So let's even leave white and black colonial masters and decolonized. If you're looking at it from a majority minority point of view, the minority are enjoying from the majority's work, and the majority are literally living in penury, which is what you can see in a lot of parts of the world. But that was what was going on then. And so Zimbabwe, as like, okay, let's try to rebuild our country, they took back some of their resources, and they took them back because they never belonged to you.
They were theirs to begin with.
Yes, like legally, and since colonization has been dismantled, they no longer belong to you, right? They no longer, like the structure within which you gained those things has been dismantled. And so they started taking back some of those lands. And because of that, there were like very heavy sanctions on them. They
about 3 point something billion, like from what I saw in the post.
The reparations.
To pay in reparations.
Okay, yeah. So even before this, when the sanctions happened, they didn't even tell them how much they had to pay at that point. It was just like, we are going to punish you guys for even daring to do this. So it wasn't like, oh, pay this and we'll lift the sanction. It wasn't that. It was like, oh, there's an oppression going on. And yes, it's a growing country. It's a country that is going through a lot of changes.
Like
there is
country that we literally just gave them independence.
There is going to be like unrest.
Yes.
There is going to be a bit of violence. There is going to be like heavy-handed ruling until the country is a bit stable.
Yes.
Until the country is a bit stable, there is going to be that.
Yeah.
Because the country is already like, there was already an imbalance, and then the imbalance is leaving. So there's going to be like some shaking. Yeah. It's going to happen. It's just logic. And so they use that to say, and the funny thing is that a lot more unrest is happening in places that these countries that are sanctioning are actually backing those people creating that unrest. Like, let's not call let's not call them, because we know that these big countries are backing them, like backing destruction. But because it's an African country that is literally so young and trying to like find their bearings, they are now sanctioned. So fine and good, you sanction us. Let's try to like build something on our own. So the sanctions were so much that like it was like, oh, you guys have an oppressive system of government. You don't allow people vote. Okay, what's new? In Russia, their elections are always rigged. Let's talk about that.
They've had a one man
rule for how long? And yet you still see them as a developed country, and nobody is trying to like say sanction. Of course, Russia is always sanctioned, but like it's not in a way where you're like, oh, never do business with these people. Literally, Trump is in talks with them right now. So let's forget that. It's really about like who is who. It's not really about morals anymore. So so they were heavily sanctioned, and they started suffering a lot because as a growing country, you do need that foreign like in and out. You do need that foreign exchange. You need to be able to export your products. You need to be able to import products. You need to be able to like do foreign exchange. But because they were on so many lists, it was like they were not able to do that. So they started suffering. Their economy started suffering, and they ended up like on their knees basically. And then they were ordered to pay like 3 billion, like you said, in reparations back to their colonizers. So it's giving French colonies and Belgian colonies paying colonial tax for the infrastructure, in quotes, that the colonial masters built in their land.
Those infrastructures are worth 3 point something billion. Guys, do you know how ridiculous? Like, do you know how ancient those infrastructures are?
We shouldn't even be paying for it.
Exactly.
Because do you know why we shouldn't even be paying for it? Do you know why? Should I tell you why? The materials used to build those things came from our land. The human labor used to build those things came from our land. Literally.
Yes, because that's the whole point of colonialism.
So what are we paying for?
Yeah.
Maybe we're paying for like the initial money you needed to use to build, like, okay, let's now start extracting these materials.
But it was still like unpaid labor most of the time.
Yeah, so like we should be like, if you want to say 3.5, okay, pay us first and then we'll now give you the change.
Exactly, and how much you're paying them should be way more than 3.5. We're talking about.
Yeah, so that was basically what happened. And when I did that research, I got a lot angrier because guys,
It's so upsetting. Like, imagine.
this is 2025, bro, and we're still talking about this. Why did they give that to me? I was thinking by now all this will be over. I was thinking that by now all this will be over, man. Like, why we shouldn't still be talking about this.
It really feels like we're going back in time.
It does feel like we're going back in time. It's very annoying. But there was this quote I saw somewhere that like, with like progress, once it has gone forward, it can't actually be reversed. It's kind of like go back, but like it can't be completely reversed because you've sown the seeds of those new ideas into people's minds.
Yeah.
So it's still going to be reignited. There's still going to be forward movements.
Yeah.
So like it gives me hope because I know that even if we go back, it's not like we're walking in circles. It feels like even if we walk in a circle, we'll have like one step that deviates from that circle and we're somewhat moving forward. So I'm not like too disheartened, but it's really sad. It's really, really sad.
It really is. Like, it was so upsetting. I remember when Mariko sent me the post on Instagram and I was like talking to my sister about it for 3 hours because
it was so upsetting. I kept going on and on about it. Because how are you even thinking?
Like the thought, and like Haiti is doing the same thing, right?
Haiti is still doing the same thing. So I was thinking about like how they feel like they did us a favor because I'm on Quora.
What fucking favor?
Yeah, so the problem with me is that I try to understand things from every point of view, not because I agree with you, but because I want to see how you think. Yeah. So I'm on Quora a lot, and I was like there's this Quora channel.
Like Reddit.
It's like Reddit but worse. Their moderation is terrible. So Reddit is like a P2P moderation thing. Like someone can like report you as a bot. So like people are more careful on Reddit. But on Quora, like people are douchebags on Quora. And then they always act like they know what they're talking about, but most of them are very dumb.
To be very honest.
But Reddit has like very good like
moderation, I would say,
not even just moderation. They have very good channels that like are heavily moderated to the point where when you enter those channels, you find everything you find there is of value. Because if you talk rubbish, you see people commenting and downvoting your comments.
True.
Yeah.
Actually, just to a little bit backtrack or sidetrack, this is different. I remember when I was like trying to learn how to DJ and like I made a post on this Reddit sub about, I don't know what they called again, like these subgroups on Reddit.
Subreddits.
Yeah, subreddit. I made a post on like a subreddit about like DJing and music production, all of that. And I was like, hello guys, I'm a complete beginner and I need like advice on where to start and all of that. Please tell me why all of these bullies came. And they were like, if you can't even spend time researching, you should not even like they were basically saying I should give up. And I was like, this is the way I found out about this subgroup is actually by me researching. Like I spent hours already researching before I found this subreddit. And I went through the community guidelines and stuff. But like they were using a lot of like technical terms, and I was like, I still don't really understand. Like, you know, there's like a plethora of like information out there, and I wanted someone to like kind of like you've done it already before, you know, like at least you have like some recommendations on what to do. That's what I was looking for. There's so many.
I'm sorry that you went through that because I'm going to tell you this, and it's going to hurt. Let me hold your hand. So because I'm a software engineer, for people that don't know. So there's this thing that they call don't ask to ask. It's like if there's a way you ask a question, they'll send you to the website. They'll just send you don't ask to ask.com. And it's basically like don't ask to ask. Don't say like, well, I'm a complete beginner, I need all the help I can get. You need to ask a specific question.
I mean, I did.
What did you ask?
Like I said like the genres of music I was interested in, and like I told them about what I'd read already, and like why I was like I asked for like recommendations on like controllers and stuff, or like where to read more about like the music genres and like mixing and like the like what's it called?
And then they were mean to you.
Yes, I had to delete my post because it was just a bunch of men like bullying me, and I was like,
what was your avatar? Was it a feminine avatar?
Yes.
That's why they are the men on Reddit.
My name is like Willow Songbird. It's like
those niggas they were. I'm black.
Excuse the French.
I'm black.
I think when you had to pause.
I bring out my black card. I bring out my black card. I bring out my black card. So Yeah, so I feel like on like all those technical channels, they feel
Yeah.
like you're out of place as a woman, so they do
Yeah.
try to bully you. They go out
Yeah,
of
they
their way
try
to
to
bully you.
like put you down, and
Yeah,
it's like, yeah.
yeah, it's messed
But you're
up.
saying about the don't ask to ask, like I still want to hear the advice you have.
Okay, yeah. So in like software engineering, if you come and say, "Oh, I'm a complete beginner. I need all the help I can get," or has anyone here ever like let me like bring a question? Has anyone here ever um hosted a server that was written with PHP? First of all, people you're asking are very busy people. People that will be able to answer your question are very busy people. They are not going to say, "Oh yes, I have." They want you to ask a specific question that they can answer immediately, like maybe in 2 minutes. So what you're trying to do is you're trying to ask them a specific question, like, "Oh, I'm having this particular bug when I am trying to host my PHP server. Please, if you've ever like hosted a PHP server and you know how to fix this bug, please help me out." That's more
Okay, I guess
specific.
that makes sense. Like it's
Yeah,
more like,
specific.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Or even if you don't like, even if you don't have a specific bug, if you have a specific thing you're trying to achieve, like, oh, I have a
Ask that.
CMS, I have a CMS like server. This is what I've done. This is what I'm trying to do right now. And this is like the end result I want to do. And this is my blocker. This is why I can't move forward. And then
Yeah.
someone can help. But if you just say, "Oh, has anyone ever done it before?" Nobody's going to say, "Oh, yeah, I no, you're not paying them for their time."
Yeah. Okay, I get that. Like,
Yeah, you need to ask it in a way that even intrigues them to want to
Mhm,
answer the
mhm.
question because they're like experts, like, or they know they probably can help. The people that can
Okay.
help you don't have the time to be saying, "Yeah, I can help.
What's your
Hi,
question exactly?
what's
But
your
that's
question
just me
exactly?"
though. That would be me. Like if it's not a
Yeah, I
question,
know,
I'll be like,
I
yeah,
know. That would
what
have been
exactly is
me,
your
but that would
question?
have been me. But on a day where I'm working and it's
Oh
really
yeah,
hectic, it's not
true.
me.
True. Fair.
It's not me. I want to be able to answer your question in like 5 minutes
I
tops
get back to my
and get
work.
back to my work.
Okay. Fair,
Yeah,
fair, fair.
yeah.
Hmm. Okay, now we can go back to discussion.
Yeah. So where did I end at the Zimbabwe thing? So yeah, so exactly like when it comes to even this like paying colonial tax of a thing, I feel like the trauma is enough. But that aside, so on Quora, when I used to be on like not when I used to be, I'm literally on Quora all the time. So don't go and find me out on Quora. Or don't try it and come and start on this. I'll not answer you. So
Fine, fine, rather.
so so when I used to be like on Quora, I used to follow like some of these racist
What?
channels. Not like follow them, but like I always see their posts because they're very popular.
Okay, okay.
So there's like what I mean by follow is that if I see
You
their
just want to
posts, I'm
see.
going to read it. So they like there's this thing they wrote, there's this one that it's okay to be white. And there's this other one that is like
Who said it's not okay to be white?
yeah, and then there was this other one that it was, and it's okay to be white. It's not like they're showing you like moral values of being white. They're always showing you anti-black rhetoric or anti-Jewish rhetoric. So it's like if it's okay to be white, okay, show us the pro-white things.
Exactly, without
Is the pro-white
sitting
things
down and
hatred?
exactly.
Is that all you have? Is that literally all you have? Hatred and vitriol towards other groups? Because if it's okay to be white and then that's the only thing you always post, like, is that all you actually have in your
It's
arsenal?
crazy, and this is why I can't like respect people that make those kinds of posts, because why can't you make your point without putting down other ethnic groups or like other groups?
There is no
Like,
point.
that's stupid.
There's literally no point.
That's literally so stupid.
I'm saying that there's no point. Like,
Wow.
you know, when you're like, maybe you're trying to get to point A and then you can follow point B, point C, and point D, or you can follow E, F, G, and H. There is no point A for them. It's okay to be white, it's just posting anti-black shit. You can check them out. It's not like they're saying, oh, all this anti-black and anti-Jewish, and oh, now it's okay to be white because you're not like that. Because they know that you can bring examples of them being like that. There are examples of them being like that. So it's like the others are like this, and you're not like that to that extent. You're a little different. You know, you're exceptional as a white person. You're not.
Oh my God.
The crimes that other people commit, you do commit, but it's fine. Let's not go into crime
You commit
statistics.
today.
They do commit it, just that the police don't
Exactly.
like don't like
They're not profiled.
yeah, they're not profiled. That's it. Because when it comes to shoplifting, it's white girls. Sorry guys. I'm sorry. I'm sorry to antagonize you. A black girl is not going to go into like a high end store and say she's going to like steal high end shit. Black person that is stealing is probably stealing their necessities, food,
or
baby food, clothing for their kids. Like you barely see a black person going to like a Gucci store and start like trying to like steal things. It's always the white girls that have the audacity.
Like the Gucci store is like, yes, like
it's always the white girls that have the audacity to do that shit. So shoplifting is literally a white girl crime. When it comes to pedophilia, it's a white man crime, white middle-aged man crime. So like when you're like profiling black men and saying robbery, many of these black people rob because they are very poor, they are marginalized, they don't have good schools in their areas. I'm not trying to say that we should like.
It's not excused either way.
It's not. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
definitely not excuse.
Yeah.
It's definitely not excuse. But I'm just saying that even the Bible actually says that if a thief steals to eat, they shouldn't actually be punished. You understand what I'm saying? So of course, so there was this thing
Is the Bible our...
Of course, definitely not.
Okay.
Yeah, but there was this thing I saw on Instagram recently where the girl was like, it's very scary to learn how to earn money, because if you learn how to earn money, you want to keep doing that to earn money, because that's the way that has worked for you to earn money. So you need to first of all know what you want to do, and then use what you want to do to earn money. So if you start earning money from the streets, it's very difficult to leave the streets. So many of these armed guys that start, and they start because they are hungry, their family is going to be put out on the street. Their mom is going to be put out on the street. Their mom can't keep their lights on. You ask where's their dad, we'll get to that. Their mom can't keep the lights on. They're like in debt. They're like, okay, I have to like run the streets. I have to sell drugs. I have to like pimp. I have to like break into this store and buy something. So when we start doing that and they start making the money, it's like, it's already in their head that this is how I make money. This is who I am.
Yes.
And so, of course, it's something that needs to change in like the black community. But you cannot say that black people are predominantly committing these crimes, because when we look at demographics of men that kill their whole families, it's white middle-aged men. It's white middle-aged men.
Let us look at the demographic of serial killers.
It's white middle-aged men. They're the ones who have the audacity to commit those kind of crimes. Like regardless, do you know the funny thing?
Because they get away with it.
They get away with it because they are white. Because they are not so profiled, and so they become serial killers. It's sad, but it's true. But we're like going on a tangent. I'm not trying.
Now we're going too far. But like I just wanted to like come back to that point. But it's actually a very, very interesting perspective, because like I guess you could say the same about like people that do jobs that they hate, but like they just keep doing it until retirement, just because they don't know another way to make money, and making money
they feel like safe there, and they feel like
it's just like
this was my first escape.
Yeah, and it was like the way that like met their needs.
Yeah, and then it's not say if it's not broken, don't fix it. Don't like break it.
That's true.
Yeah.
If it's not broken, don't fix it.
Yeah, my mom says if it's not broken, don't break it.
That's what the saying should be. If it's not broken, don't break it.
It's deep, man.
Dang.
Think about it.
Okay, guys. Let's cut this part. But should we add like a music break?
Where we dance?
No, obviously not. But like, I don't know. But like just in the beginning, you think?
We can add it like
an intro.
Yeah, we'll add like in the middle too.
Yeah.
We'll be like, okay, let's do cheers. It's like, okay, so we didn't actually like do posts. So let's cheers and stare into each other's soul. Post.
Apparently, this is like a thing in Germany. I don't know if it's a thing everywhere else.
It's
but like
not.
In Germany,
it's not. Yes.
I only knew about it in Germany. In Germany, you have to like post and
you have to look into each other's souls, or else you're lying. You're trying to poison them or something.
Oh, that's not the version I had.
What was the version you had?
Have 7 years of bad sex.
Oh my god! Kill me right now. Like no matter who I do it with.
Yours makes sense though. Yours makes sense. Like it's to make sure you're not poisoned. But like I feel like I could poison you and still look into your eyes. Like I don't
You're a pathological liar.
Like what do with anything? I'm sorry. Like
oh my god, I'm scared of you right now. Okay. No, I'm not afraid.
Let's like what's the word? Divert back to our
regular stretch. Oh my god.
English is not our first language.
English is my first language. English is my first language.
I was trying to excuse your bad English. English is my first language too, but
did you see those South African people that were dragging us that we don't know how to speak English? So they're
dragging Nigerians.
They're like we don't know how to speak English. No. Calm down. That we don't know how to speak. We're not putting pidgin. We're not like if you don't see the difference between pidgin and English, that means you yourself don't know how to speak English. Then you know Nigerians now, we are very crazy. We're not dragging them that they can't even finish a sentence with just English. We have to insert their language like Sosa or like and I was like, please guys, let's not fight each other.
Literally, let's not start the
African. We love you all.
Literally, we love y'all.
Yeah. One Africa, baby.
I'm going to get cancelled. Oh God.
So, what was I saying about was it Zimbabwe we're talking about? Okay, yeah.
we said
So I was
that.
talking about the it's okay to be white thing.
Yes, yes.
So I was like talking about like how this like whole idea of us owing them colonial tax goes. So when I was on like one of those their posts, a comment was like, "Oh, we taught them everything they know. If we left them, they'll probably still be like living in huts, naked, and all of that." And I was now like, okay, you didn't actually teach us everything we knew because
Exactly.
cesarean sections were actually Ugandan women doing cesarean sections, and then white men came and saw them doing it, and then they started doing it in Britain.
You know, they love medical procedures and medical like innovations that were actually from black people, and then white people just stole the ideas. And obviously, like then black people were not giving credit, and
Yeah.
even now, like we're barely giving credits for like that's
Yeah,
they wow.
yeah.
Wow.
Honest, I don't. You know, I don't even like these like fights about us not contributing to society because you came from here. Fire before you even before the emigration of humans from the African continent, they had fire. It was black people that discovered fire. They want to start from there, and fire was like the biggest innovation that we ever had because we could keep warm, we could cook food faster, so
You
we
can
could
make a
digest
lot
food
of things
faster.
with fire, like
Yeah, like so there's even this theory that like the reason why we have such big brains is because we spend less time like digesting food. So we can like we cook food and then the food is easy to digest, and so we have more energy to like do
to
other
focus on
things,
other
and our
things.
brains, our brains now grow bigger over time.
Interesting.
So it's like fire. We discover fire. If you want to like go so ancient before the emigration happened, and then
But
they
ice
now met
age.
they met Neanderthals on the other like continents, and so I'm sorry that I engaged in a bit of trolling. So someone was like being very racist, and I was like, oh, I wouldn't expect like much from someone with Neanderthal DNA. You're so dumb. I'm sorry, guys. We could cut this out, but I was like, the guy was fucking racist.
That's such a good. Oh my god, I'm still
And so like if we're going to like this is a very big pivot, but there was this
I feel like that's the whole point of this podcast. Like our conversations always.
yeah, so there was this like scientist. He's black. He's a very brilliant scientist. He was saying that like before now the rhetoric about Neanderthals was that they were like brutish, so they were not very smart, but they were bigger than Homo sapiens, and they were already on like the continent before we came, so they were more hostile. They were bigger, and they were not very cooperative in terms of like hunting together. So Homo sapiens outcompeted them and interbred with them to the point where they stopped existing because we outcompeted them.
We made them extinct.
So we did make them extinct. We were like complicit in making so many species extinct actually, like not just human species.
Yeah.
So sorry about that, guys. Take
It's
responsibility.
True. I mean, yeah,
sorry.
we have to.
Yeah. So when they did that, the whole story was like, oh, Neanderthals were so dumb and all of that. So when people now started doing DNA tests, white people, and then started finding out they had Neanderthal DNA, the story changed. The Neanderthals were tool makers. They were more complex. And this was this black scientist I was saying, and he doesn't have any stake in the game because he usually talks about astrology. He doesn't really talk about sociology or racism or anything. But it was outstanding to him that suddenly there was now new research showing that like Neanderthals were. So really, it makes sense that so many people are skeptical of scientific community because they sometimes pander and switch.
Results.
Yeah, they make research to suit their feeling.
Wow.
Yeah, they make research to suit their feeling because the consensus was like, yeah, they were not as smart as Homo sapiens because we are proud and we identified with Homo sapiens. But then when this whole DNA testing thing became like a bit more popular, people started finding out that okay, I have some Neanderthal DNA and all of that. It was not like, oh yeah, they were smart. Yeah, they were. And you know what?
So try to find good things. If it was reversed and they found out it was actually black people that had like the Neanderthal.
Yeah, they'll say, oh, it makes so much sense.
Yes,
you're brutish.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You have not done any further research or anything.
Exactly.
Like, that makes so much sense.
Yeah, exactly. So you see my point
This
that like
insane.
yeah. So anyway, like so yeah, that was my retort to that man. But yeah. So it was like, oh, we taught them everything they know, and I was like, why did you come to us? If you had everything,
exactly.
Your countries were not producing things for yourselves. You were always looking for other people's own to collect. And you know, I've said this thing before that like Black people and like African people in Africa,
Mhm.
it's not that we are backward, it's that we are content.
Yes.
And there's wisdom in being content. It's not like content in like as like if people are there and you don't find a new solution. It's content in like you don't go looking when everything is okay.
Yes.
So for example, if you watch horror movies, any of you that are horror fiends, you find that like when there's a noise, it's always a white person going to investigate. A black person is going to try to protect themselves and their family and their loved ones.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's not a bad thing. It's curiosity.
Yeah, it's also I feel like that's isn't that supposed to be like a human instinct to like
Yeah. But then I also want to point out that it makes sense because the people that the Homo sapiens, the black
Mhm,
Homo sapiens that left Africa,
mhm.
they already were curious. It's curious people that left.
Mm.
It's curious people that left because they must have left due to like some environmental pressures. Like maybe
Yeah.
there was drought, they had to find new food.
Yeah.
But I think that there was also a curiosity that would also drove them to leave. So it is curious people that left. I'm not saying that Africans are not curious. I'm just saying that it was curious people that left. So I do think that there's probably a certain level of difference in the way we see the world.
That's
An
true.
African person would see the moon and probably be like, "Oh, I know that there's a planet, but I'm not going to go there."
Yeah. Yeah, you know, there's like this saying that says
We just like we're just in awe.
problem.
Yeah, we're just in
Yeah.
awe. Like, okay, the moon is so beautiful. The moon gives us light.
And that's okay.
We record that it comes every so and so weeks.
Mhm, mhm,
It's beautiful.
mhm,
In fact, we're going to worship it as a god.
mhm. But we don't think. Oh,
But we don't think, oh, let me
I
go
want to
and
to the moon
and then
see what it actually
plant
looks
my
like
flag,
there.
and then go and plant my flag on it. We know we know the people
We
that
all know
were
who we're talking about
about
right
here.
now.
Even though some people are saying it's fake born. The people are saying that the moon landing was fake, but of course it's not fake. I don't believe
I
it's
don't
fake.
think it's fake.
Yeah, I don't think it's fake. Did you hear about Katy Perry and them and the man them going to the moon?
Oh my god, bro! I literally just said TikTok about it today, and it's like
You know
if you're
what?
an astronaut after
I
going to the moon
feel
for one day.
I feel a bad feeling in my stomach when I'm talking about this. So
Why?
it's like I don't want if I delve into it, I will scatter everything because capitalism is a bitch. Why are we doing that when people are literally dying?
You know,
What is
oh,
point?
you know. I don't want to call them stupid, but they are stupid. Didn't this also happen like something very similar where there was like a bunch of like rich people entered that submarine and went underwater and then they couldn't find their.
Yeah.
So why are you going to moon? Why are you going to the moon? Why are you going to the moon? Like the Earth is not enough for
Celebrities.
you
Okay,
to
are they wait,
explore?
okay, hold on. Okay. Are they hiding something? Because maybe they are like alien ambassadors on the moon and they're like, oh, let's send our finest looking celebrities to go and say hi to them. Because if that's not the case, why? What's the point? You have
Alien
trained
ambassadors.
you have well trained astronauts that can collect data.
Yeah,
Why are you
right?
sending those people like on a mission with like billions of dollars?
And they're not qualified, not one bit, to be running that mission. Like it does not make any sense to me, actually.
It doesn't make sense. Does anything make sense?
Nothing
Nothing.
makes sense, actually. Um,
Yeah. So I pointed out some discoveries that black people did.
mhm,
Because it said like everything that like white people was white people that taught us, and then I was like, okay, these Egyptian like mathematicians, like Pythagoras,
algebra.
yeah. The Ugandan women were performing C-sections with like what they did was that they would what they call it, sanitize their equipment with banana wine, which was like alcohol, and then they would burn it in fire to kill like the germs. They didn't know that was what they were doing, but that was what they were doing. They sanitize with banana wine and burn the metal with fire, and that would like sanitize it. So there was like less risk of infection. And then they used to wash their hands with banana wine before and after the C-section. So I think it was like from years of like learning, and this was around the time when they were not washing their hands in Europe. Oh. Calm down. I think us we're not also washing our hands, so let's be calm. We don't know about that. we don't know. We as humans didn't know about that at that point. But then I'm just saying that even the doctors were not washing their hands at that point.
Yeah.
There was this doctor that brought up like germ theory, and I've forgotten his name, but he was actually pushed to his death. Like he was mocked, he was ridiculed because the problem with like a lot of men, especially men that are in control of other people's lives, is that they have a lot of ego. It's just a problem with them.
Yeah.
It's not. They don't see it as a position of service. They see it as a position of ego, as a position of telling you whether you live or die. And so it's like this new person is telling me that I've been doing medicine wrong all this while. Fuck you, man. I'm going to ruin you. And so yeah, they pushed him on to his death. He actually died quite young and died without his ideas being respected until he died. And then years later, germ theory was now found out and he was right. That he was telling them that they need to wash their hands before going into surgery because
So he already
he
knew
did it.
about this whole time.
Yeah, he did it. He did it and he saw good results. It was like an empirical thing for him. He didn't know that it was germs, but he knew that when he washed his hand before surgery, the women, there was a reduction in mortality rates because usually these same doctors, if you're scared of morbid things or this trigger warning, morbid things ahead, so these same doctors would like go from like a mortuary thing, like an autopsy, like teaching their students with human bodies, and then they'll go straight to
Surgery.
to like bring out these women's babies. So it's like you're carrying germs from dead people's bodies to these women, and Uganda women already cracked the code through like years of observation.
Yeah.
Maybe they didn't know that there were microorganisms causing these germs, but they were
but
able,
they knew
and they
probably,
knew,
results.
and they knew because they cared, because they were women, because they had children, they had to know, because they cared about their community and the women in their community not dying.
Yes, so they had to find a way.
They had to find a way, and so like they performed C-sections quite a bit, and then their way of performing C-sections was now like exported, and then they started performing it abroad. Yeah, so there are a few number of things like that. It's sad because a lot of our history was not written down, and the ones that were commemorated through like dance, through arts. Many of the arts were stolen, and then the dance was like when people die and they don't teach the dance to other people because of Christianity and colonial westernization. Colonial like Christianity, colonial like westernization. No, people don't know how to dance those dances. People don't know how to sing those songs anymore. It's now marked as like you're doing juju, you're doing voodoo,
you're doing something barbaric.
You're doing something not even barbaric, you're doing something evil.
Yeah.
So some people are traditional worshippers, and then you see them as evil. Oh, this person is doing juju. The juju this person is doing the same thing as you going to church and holding the Bible and saying, "Die by fire, die by fire. My enemies die by fire." You're kabashing.
But just because this traditional way of worshiping has been so like
demonized
by colonizers, now you think that they are doing the wrong thing. You're literally doing almost the same.
Yeah, you're wishing death on your enemies, and they're using
also wishing death on the enemies.
Yeah, they're using voodoo dolls to do their own, and you're afraid. Whose God is real now? You shouldn't be afraid of your own, right? Because he's like an all-loving God and you're praying to him. So now you're afraid of their own. So whose God is real? Because you guys are doing the same thing. You're afraid of their own. Now let me kind of go mash poison.
I'm like, let us not step too much.
Okay. Yeah, it's okay. We forgive you guys. Forgive us as we forgive you. This is Easter weekend, so as Jesus Christ has died for all our sins. Oh, true. Let's respect your beliefs. Sorry, guys.
We obviously respect Christianity.
For real, like actually for real, I do.
We're both raised Christians, actually.
Yeah, we were.
You're talking about being ethnically Christian or something.
Yeah, let's call it ethnically.
Like, I don't think like Jewish people like identify as being like ethnically Jewish.
Was I use the word ethnically?
Yeah. Like, isn't that how like Jewish people would refer to themselves? Like, they're ethnically Jewish. I would say it's like, I don't know, but I get your point. Like, you don't really like associate, like you don't like perform the religion, but like because you grew up with it.
Yeah, let me check what I said. I don't think I used the word ethnically because I don't see. Someone was calling me. I don't see like Christianity as an ethnic thing, but like being Jewish can be seen as, oh, you're from Israel, so you're sort of Jewish. You get me? So you're like, oh, I see myself as an Israelite and a Jewish, but I'm not. I don't like.
Israel.
Sorry guys.
Question mark.
Sorry guys. Okay, so let me go into your DM and check the.
Going into my DM.
Yeah, obsessed much. She's right here and I'm in her DMs. Okay. So, on the message I send you complaints, you know, I'm obsessed. I'm actually obsessed. I said culturally, I didn't say ethnically.
Okay.
I know I don't use the word ethnically like that.
Yeah, ethnic. Okay, culturally Christian makes more sense.
Yeah, culturally. So what I mean by culturally Christian is like I engage in the holidays. I go to like church when like something is happening.
Yeah, for Christmas, for instance.
I might actually call this part out because my parents don't know about this, but yeah. Yeah.
That's true.
I'll actually call this part. I'm not going to put this part.
Yeah,
But it's still good to like talk about it so that like the conversation will flow.
yeah.
But yeah, so I like yeah. I go to church when there are like activities or when I want to like feel nostalgic or feel
Mhm.
connected to my family, feel
Mhm.
connected to my community.
Yeah.
But like the beliefs, not necessarily. I don't like actually
Yeah. I
subscribe to the
think this is
beliefs.
exactly the same with me.
Yeah.
That's why I kind of like identify as agnostic because I feel like atheism is too far from me because I still like the same with you. Like I don't believe in the beliefs. Like I don't believe in like the God that the Bible
But do you believe in
proclaims.
any God?
I believe that there's a supreme, like maybe not supreme being, but like I feel like there are a lot of things that have happened to me that I can't really explain,
Yeah,
and
me too.
like it just feels like something is out there watching out for me. Like I don't know
Mm.
if it's my ancestors or just like the universe, or like just
I feel like something's
something.
out there like being a jerk to me.
Yeah, a jerk.
Yeah. I've had good ones, but I've had the ones I'm like, I know you're punishing me right now, but me.
Dang.
You're very petty.
Dang.
Yeah, I can see that you're petty because I know they go to church, but that's not to Abba Father, of course.
Yes, of course.
That's not to Abba Father, of course. That's to a supreme being somewhere in the
Some
sky.
other, some other supreme being.
Yeah, that's not Abba Father, of course,
Abba Father.
yeah. So that's not to the one that was on the cross yesterday. My bro, free my bro Jesus.
Free our brothers. I just like TikTok and it was like, this is how Jesus would be if he was on live. Like Jesus live and on the Last Supper, but he doesn't know that it's the Last Supper. And it was basically like, guys, get ready with me to have dinner with my top best friend. And it's like, Judas, where are you at? Like I've not seen you in the last few days. And then,
Oh, did you not respond to the group chat?
no, Judas did not respond. It was like, and someone like commented on the live and was like, do you not think like the romance was it romance or Jesus was like part of the Jews, right? It was like, yeah. Like, do you not think the romance will find you? And I was like, no, it's supposed to be a private gathering. Like, why would the romance find you? And it's like, little did he know that Judas was going to betray him.
Judas the carrots.
Yeah.
Speaking of carrots, I was going to cook, but I forgot to buy carrots. So tomorrow we're going to make jollof rice.
Judas Iscariot. You say carrot.
I know, but it sounds like carrots. I just remembered that I did not buy carrots. So tomorrow we're going to make jollof rice with that carrot. So you guys will bear with us. We'll eat it like that.
Why do you make jollof rice with carrot?
You put carrots inside now so that it will be crunchy. You don't put carrots in jollof rice. They will take it for healing.
They do that one for you.
They'll take it for deliverance.
I've never tried it.
It used to be good. Like, of course, I've tried it without carrot, but it's also with carrot. It's really nice. Yeah.
It's like
They'll just dice it to be very small, and then you just crunch. Nice. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, I feel like we have contributed. Then, like beyond just the African continent, which has been like very underserved and like oppressed for a while, like it's like there's a grapple for Africa. Like the grapple is not just like the grapple. So the grapple of like taking land and colonizing has ended, but the grapple for resources and destabilizing the continent because the continent is very rich in resources. So
because
Africa is not poor. Africa is not poor because even if we decide to base our currencies on gold, we'll be fine because we are actually exporting value. But we've been like forced based on having been colonized to devalue our currencies. A lot of countries have had to devalue their currencies to be able to do business with like foreign bodies, like for international.
It's so sad because I feel like with how much we have to give, we should keep pushing for like our currency to be of higher value.
Yeah, and it doesn't help because like anybody that tries to change that is usually assassinated or killed.
That is actually very true.
So it's unfortunate because now Burkina Faso enters the chat. So hi guys, I like my French bro. So if you're French, if you're Burkina Faso and you're fine, you have to be fine. Send us a line,
To remember, she started with Togo.
Okay. If you're fine, I listen to French rap, Keshak and Gazo and the likes.
My God.
Oh,
we're feeling our tea.
Yeah, we're just like, it's tea here, guys. We're just like sipping the tea. Please bring down your glass. I don't know that we are. We're keeping it halal over here, Christian stuff over here. So, Azo. Deutsch. Lerne Deutsch.
Wir lernen Deutsch.
Mit Karte bitte.
Dankeschön.
Dankeschön.
I'm so sorry. I don't know why we switched to like the random German.
Zurückklein bitte.
What?
Zurückklein bitte. Like when you're about to enter the tram and the doors are closing.
Bleiben bitte.
Oh! Go pour my drink. Okay. Oh, is this Zurückklein? It's like.
Zurückbleiben.
Oh, I thought they were saying like Zurückklein bitte, like move back a little bit, like back up a little bit.
Zurückbleiben, like stay back.
Oh, I thought like Zurückklein bitte is like back small. Please.
Yeah. Zurückbleiben. Stay back.
Okay.
Bleiben is like stay.
I get it, but like Zurückklein still makes sense.
Zurückklein.
Back small.
Zurückklein. That's not German.
Klein.
Zurückklein. Oh, hey. Zurückklein, bitte.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe you should do our own version where you say Zurückklein, bitte.
Oh, what is How I wonder what you are, up above the world so high, like a diamond in the sky. Anyway, thank you so much for watching our video. Please like, please subscribe, help our lives. We love you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Oh, in my next video, she's going to talk. I know I talked a lot.
Yes.
I talk too much when I'm tipsy. Sorry, guys.
I'm going to talk more. Remember my voice. Remember my voice.
Remember our face and our voice. Love you.
Cutie.